What if you could get the texture and flavor of mozzarella sticks, but without animal products? That's what we're making today with tofu in place of cheese. And the result is something that you'll really love, whether you're vegan or not. First, we're going to make the breading, and that's where we'll get that cheesy flavor. We're using Beanfields Spicy Queso flavored bean chips, and instead of using a food processor to break them up, we're actually just going to cut a little hole in the top of the bag and crush our chips right inside the bag. That's one less dish we have to wash. Usually you would use breadcrumbs for breading, but these chips add that cheesy flavor we're looking for, and they're gluten-free, and they fry up really nicely without letting our tofu dry out. Now we're going to press our tofu. Even if you have firm tofu, it still retains some liquid. That excess moisture isn't great for when you're frying. So an easy way to press tofu is to put your tofu in a tray to catch the liquid, put another tray on top, and then just put a couple large, heavy cans on top to weigh it down. Give that anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, and just let the weight press the excess liquid out of the tofu. Once it's drained, you'll cut the tofu into the right size for your sticks. Let's move on to our dredging station. We're using a gluten-free blend of tapioca flour and garlic powder to coat the tofu. For this next step, you might typically beat an egg or use buttermilk to dip the food after it's been dredged in flour. But we're making this vegan, so instead, we're using Thrive Market's vegan mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is a great alternative to egg because it adheres really well. But mayonnaise also usually contains egg, so using a vegan mayo gives us the same result but without the egg. And we're just mixing it with some water here to loosen it up a little bit. Now, onto our breading. We're going to use the Beanfields Spicy Queso chips that we crushed earlier for this final step in our breading process. That will give these sticks a nice, cheesy, crispy exterior. To bread the sticks, we're going to go one by one, starting with the flour. Lift the tofu stick from the flour and dip it into the wet mixture. Turn it to make sure it's nice and coated, then transfer it over into the breading. Use your dry hand to make sure it's fully covered, and then lift it out of the breading. Then you'll just repeat the same process using one hand for wet and the other for dry for each stick. Now we're just going to fry our sticks. We're using a large skillet filled halfway with oil and heated to medium-high heat. We're using tongs to gently place each stick in the pan, and you don't want to overcrowd the pan, so just start with 3 or 4 at a time. Fry them for about 30 seconds on each side until you get that nice golden brown color. When they're done, transfer them to a plate lined with paper towels. And now you're ready to serve with a side of warm marinara sauce for that classic mozzarella stick flavor.